A transfer student and his mom. They were here today for the orientation events, and it started, of course, as an exciting day. But then as all of the commotion happened, the student tells me that he and his younger brother and his mom, they were sort of pulled in one direction. Their father was pulled in a different direction. The sons and the mom, they ended up in someone's apartment who allowed them to come in and just sort of waited and got alerts as things were happening. But this was a stressful few hours. I asked his mother, how do you sort of move forward now? She was dropping her son, her oldest son, off at college, and she said, yeah, we've got some processing to do. This was certainly not what they were expecting, and they have to process everything that they have been through in the past few hours. Let me sort of step out of the way and show you how things have evolved here. When I saw you before, remember, there were cars just packed into this area and police tape across the way. And actually, there is still police tape, so we're going to move back behind it. They're asking us to still stay behind that. So when we moved out onto that road, we didn't realize we had passed it. But you can see that when we swing around here, that this road is a lot emptier than it was before. It was filled with flashing lights before. Now you can see still a few cars with flashing lights, but mostly they are moving things out. People who had been on campus, and actually we see the DA coming down here. We're going to grab him and see what he can tell us. I know that just a few moments ago you read that statement from his office talking about their investigation and talking about finding who was responsible for this. So we're going to talk to Jack Stollsteimer, the district attorney here, in just a moment, as soon as he gets free and is available to talk to us. But we know that, that's an example of how what happened here today, the incident is over. People are able to go home, but we know that certainly what happened with them, that stays with them. That is not over. And for law enforcement and the DA's office, things are not over as well. Let's talk to the district attorney.
Can you give us an update on exactly what you know, what happened? Obviously, we heard it's a hoax.
Right. Around 4:30 this afternoon, somebody made a call that there was an active shooter in the law school. And then later there was a piece of information that came in that there was a victim. So, of course, you saw tremendous law enforcement response. Everybody in the four-county area, every police department was practically here, state police, federal agencies, FBI, everybody. And we're able to determine that there was no shooter here, that nobody has reported shots fired, there's no victim, and we believe it was a hoax.
Is there a trail you're able to follow to determine who's responsible?
We're going to try to do that. Every tool we have, both my office, my criminal investigation division, the state attorney general's office, and the FBI will be working together. But some of this stuff may not be traceable, but we're going to give it every opportunity to do so and hold them accountable.
You said a call came in. Where exactly did the call come in?
Comes into the 911 center.
At the Delaware County 911
Correct.
Center,
Mm-hmm.
That's where the call came, that there was an active shooter at Villanova University. And there is no way to trace that?
Well, there's ways you can disguise where calls come from. Technology, as we all know, allows you to do certain things. I can't get into more detail than that at this point because it's obviously an active investigation, but our intention is to try to hold whoever did this accountable. We're going to use our best efforts to do so.
Was it just one call? Was it just one call, or?
There was one call that I know of for a shooter. That's why everybody responded. Then there was other information that came in during the course of the time law enforcement was here trying to lock down the buildings. But as you saw, these agencies worked hand in hand together to make sure that we secured everybody on the campus, secured the buildings, and went through the buildings. And at this point, everybody's being released and sent home.
And when and how did you determine that it was in fact a hoax? I know you guys were going building to building and people were sheltering in place. When did you realize?
Not that long ago. I mean, they did a fantastic job. I was with Chief Superintendent Flanagan in the command center, and they did a fantastic job working together. All these different law enforcement agencies working together, went through every building and made sure that there wasn't somebody hiding or anything like that. Once we determined, and the chief, using his expertise, determined that we had done that sufficiently, we knew we had a hoax.
What kind of charges could someone be facing if you're able to track them down?
Sure, I don't even want to go into that at this point. I mean, literally, we're just leaving the scene here. But as I mentioned, we'll be working with both my office and our federal partners, and there possibly could be state and federal charges. But that's all if we can identify who did it. And
per se, for a lot of students, a lot of fear. What's your message for the community?
Yeah,
like this?
This is every parent's worst nightmare. I mentioned earlier, I'm sending my daughter off to her first day of her second year at University of Delaware tomorrow. So this is what you think about now. And unfortunately, in the world we live in, you have to think about these things. The good news is you saw the amazing response from law enforcement. We have some of the best law enforcement agencies in Pennsylvania, in this region. I'm very proud of the work that they do. They had this scene secure. This is now the most secure place in Delaware County tonight. And we're going to make sure that Villanova University stays secure and that these kids will be safe during their college career.
What's next on this investigation now?
We're just going to keep following the leads. I mean, at this point, we're trying to make sure that everybody gets home safely tonight. You see the law enforcement officers going back home, and then we'll start with the investigation to see if we can trace whoever made the call and started this whole process.
What's your message to the person that's behind this?
We're coming to get you.
And that was District Attorney Jack Stollsteimer from Delaware County giving us an update on the investigation, how they figured out that this was a hoax, how they got information throughout the process, and what happens now. This investigation continuing to try to track down who's responsible. But as you heard the DA say, it can be difficult, and people can disguise where a phone call came from, and those sorts of things can be difficult to track down. But he says they're going to try. Guys, back to you.